the sleek hull of the Earth Alliance vessel Pathfinder cut through the darkness of space like a knife. Commander Ethan Wright stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the main screen. After 20 years in space exploration, he had never thought this day would come. "Signal confirmed, Commander," said Lieutenant Kate Miller from her station. "The alien vessel is hailing us again." Ethan took a deep breath. First contact. Real first contact with an advanced alien civilization, not just microbes on a distant moon or ruins of long-dead cultures, but living, breathing aliens with technology that could travel between stars. "Open the channel," he ordered. The screen flickered, revealing a tall, slender being with skin the color of a clear summer sky. Its eyes were large and completely black, set in a face that looked almost human except for the lack of a nose and the slightly elongated shape of its skull. "Greetings once more, humans of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, a result of the 3 months they had spent exchanging language data before this face-to-face meeting. "I am Chief Diplomat Zelthorn of the Ardani Confederation. We welcome you to the galactic community." Ethan nodded formally. "On behalf of the Earth Alliance, we are honored to meet you, Chief Diplomat." Ambassador Lisa Kelly stepped forward. She was the official representative of Earth's governments, a skilled diplomat with gray eyes that missed nothing. "We look forward to establishing peaceful relations between our peoples," Lisa said with a smile. Zelthorn's expression changed slightly. It wasn't quite a smile. The Ardani facial muscles didn't work that way. But there was a hint of something in those alien eyes, something that made Ethan uneasy. "Yes," the Ardani said. "Peace is always our goal when meeting younger civilizations." 2 weeks later, Ethan found himself on the Ardani mothership along with Lisa and a small team of Earth's best scientists and diplomats. The aliens had invited them aboard to discuss cultural exchange and technological cooperation. The Ardani ship was enormous, easily 20 times the size of the Pathfinder, with technology that seemed like magic to the humans. Dr. Alan Murphy, the mission's chief archaeologist, whispered to Ethan as they walked down a corridor with walls that seemed to shift colors with the mood of those passing by. "Have you noticed how they look at us? Like we're children playing with toys?" Ethan had noticed. In every meeting, the Ardani experts spoke slowly, using simple terms, explaining basic concepts as if the humans couldn't possibly understand more complex ideas. They smiled, or whatever passed for smiling among their kind, whenever a human asked questions about their technology. "Be patient," Ethan whispered back. "We need this alliance. Earth needed it badly." Climate disasters and resource wars had nearly destroyed human civilization in the 2080s. The discovery of faster-than-light travel in the 2120s had given humanity hope, new worlds to colonize, new resources to harvest. But the challenges of space were greater than anyone had expected. In the 50 years since establishing their first off-world colonies, humans had struggled. The meeting room the Ardani led them to was large and round, with a table that seemed to grow out of the floor. 7 Ardani officials sat on one side, their blue skin contrasting with their silver clothing. "Please sit," Zelthorn said, gesturing to the empty chairs. "We have much to discuss about your place in our galactic family." Lisa sat directly across from the chief diplomat. "We're eager to learn about the other civilizations in this sector. How many are there?" 17 spacefaring cultures within 500 light-years of your solar system," answered an Ardani with markings that indicated she was some kind of scientist. "The Ardani Confederation includes 12 of these. The others are still developing." "Like us?" Dr. Olivia Grant, the team's xenobiologist, asked. The Ardani scientist made that not-quite smile again. "Yes. Though some have been traveling between stars for millennia rather than decades." Ethan felt a flash of irritation but kept his face neutral. Every conversation with the Ardani contained these little jabs, these reminders that humans were newcomers, barely out of the cradle. "We've brought information about Earth's history and cultural achievements," Lisa said, sliding a data crystal across the table. "We're proud of how far we've come in such a short time." Zelthorn picked up the crystal between 2 long, slender fingers. "Ah, yes. Your recorded history spans, what, 10,000 years, perhaps 12? Written history, about 6,000, Alan Murphy said. But we have archaeological evidence of advanced human cultures going back much further. Of course, Zelthorn said in a tone that might have been used to praise a child's drawing. Very impressive for such a young species. The Ardani have records dating back 50,000 years. After the meeting, the human team was shown to their quarters. The rooms were comfortable but clearly designed with alien bodies in mind. The beds were too long, the chairs too high. They're treating us like a curiosity, Ethan said once they had gathered in private. Not like equals. Lisa sighed as she sat on the edge of her too-tall bed. I know. But they have technology we desperately need. Medical advances that could save millions of lives back home. Energy systems that could solve our resource problems. But at what cost? Alan asked. Did you hear what they said about supervising our development? About restrictions on how quickly we can expand our colonies? They claim it's for everyone's safety, Olivia added. That young species need guidance to avoid making mistakes that could harm others. Ethan paced the room, frustration evident in every step. They talk about us like we're children who can't be trusted with sharp objects. Over the next few days, the pattern continued. The Ardani showed the humans amazing technologies, but refused to share the principles behind them. They spoke of bringing Earth into their protection, of helping humans avoid the typical mistakes of younger races. In one particularly tense meeting, Zelthorn outlined the Ardani proposal for future relations. We will establish an embassy on Earth and outposts on your colony worlds, the diplomat explained. We'll share certain technologies, medical, agricultural, environmental. But more advanced systems will come later when your civilization has matured. And who decides when we've matured enough? Ethan asked, unable to keep the edge from his voice. Zelthorn's black eyes fixed on him. The Ardani Council has thousands of years of experience integrating new species into the galactic community. We know the dangers of giving too much too soon. So we just have to trust you, Lisa said. Has your species ever given powerful technology to those who weren't ready for it? Zelthorn asked. How did that end? The humans fell silent, thinking of their own bloody history. Your kind has only achieved interstellar travel within the last century, the Ardani continued. We have charted the stars for over 50 millennia. We have watched countless young races rise and fall. Some destroyed themselves. Others caused great harm before they were stopped. Later that night, as the humans discussed their options in private, Alan Murphy sat slightly apart from the others, studying his tablet with unusual intensity. What are you looking at? Olivia asked, sitting beside him. The historical data they gave us access to, Alan replied quietly. There's something strange about these symbols in their ancient texts. He turned the tablet so she could see. On the screen were images of Ardani writing from thousands of years ago. What about them? Olivia asked. Alan pulled up another image, this one from his own research files. These are cave paintings found in Australia. They're at least 40,000 years old. Olivia looked from one image to the other, her eyes widening. They're similar. Not just similar, Alan whispered. In some cases, they're identical. And it doesn't make any sense. There shouldn't be any connection between prehistoric humans and an alien civilization from hundreds of light years away. Ethan joined them, peering at the images. What are you saying, Doctor? Alan looked up, his face pale with the implications of his discovery. I'm saying that everything we know about human history, or everything the Ardani think they know about us, might be wrong. The small research room aboard the Pathfinder was crowded with screens and data tablets. Dr. Alan Murphy had barely slept in the 3 days since their return from the Ardani mothership. Dark circles hung under his eyes as he compared images and symbols from two worlds separated by vast distances of space. Look at this one, he said, pointing to a circular design with 7 lines radiating outward. This appears in cave paintings in Africa, Australia, and North America. All from different time periods, all from cultures that had no contact with each other. Dr. Olivia Grant nodded, her fingers tracing the same symbol on an Ardani text displayed on another screen. And here it is in their ancient religious writings. They call it the Seed of Stars. According to their mythology, it represents the 7 original worlds of their gods. But how? Alan asked, rubbing his tired eyes. How does the same symbol appear on both planets? It's not simple enough to be a coincidence. Olivia had no answer. She had spent the last several hours comparing mathematical formulas from ancient Sumerian tablets with early Ardani scientific texts. The similarities were too numerous to ignore. The door slid open, and Commander Ethan Wright entered with Ambassador Lisa Kelly close behind. "Any progress?" Ethan asked. Alan gestured at the cluttered screens. "Too much, and none of it makes sense. We found over 50 distinct matches between ancient Earth cultures and early Ardani writings, symbols, mathematical concepts, even similar myths." "Could the Ardani have visited Earth in the past?" Lisa asked. Alan shook his head. "According to their own history, they didn't develop space travel until about 20,000 years ago. Some of these Earth symbols date back 75,000 years or more." Ethan frowned. "Have you shared any of this with them?" "No," Olivia said quickly. "We thought it best to understand what we're looking at first." "Good," Ethan replied, "because our situation with the Ardani is getting complicated." He activated the room's main screen, showing a map of human space. Earth glowed blue at the center, surrounded by 12 colony worlds marked in green. The Ardani Council has delivered their official proposal for integration. They want to place supervisors on every human world, including Earth. They'll control all new colonization efforts and limit our faster-than-light travel. "They say it's for our own protection," Lisa added with clear frustration in her voice, "to prevent us from making the mistakes that supposedly doom young civilizations." "And if we refuse?" Olivia asked. Lisa's expression hardened. "They didn't say directly, but the message was clear. Accepting their guidance is the only way to join the galactic community. Otherwise, we're on our own, cut off from any contact or trade with advanced species." "Earth's governments are divided," Ethan continued. "Some want to accept the Ardani terms. Better to be junior partners than isolated, they say. Others are talking about fighting for our independence, even though we don't stand a chance against their technology." Alan turned back to his screens, staring at the ancient symbols. "There's another option. If we can understand what these connections mean, it might change how the Ardani see us." "How?" Ethan asked. "I don't know yet, but these symbols suggest a connection between our peoples going back tens of thousands of years. That has to mean something." The next day, while the diplomatic team continued their tense negotiations, Alan and Olivia made a breakthrough. They had been studying the oldest Ardani religious texts available in the data the aliens had shared. "Look at this," Olivia said excitedly. "It's a star chart, part of their creation myth. It shows where their gods supposedly came from." Alan leaned closer. "Can you match it to real stars?" "Working on it now." Olivia's fingers flew over the controls, aligning the ancient chart with modern star maps. After several minutes, she sat, back in surprise. "That's odd." "What?" "If I'm reading this correctly, their gods came from the direction of Earth. Not exactly, but from a star cluster that includes our solar system." Alan felt a chill run down his spine. "Could be coincidence." "Maybe, but there's more." She pulled up another text. "This describes their gods as the tall ones with skin like soil and eyes like the sky or forest." "Alan, they're describing humans." Before they could discuss this further, Ethan's voice came over the ship's comm system. "Dr. Murphy, Dr. Grant, report to the briefing room immediately." When they arrived, they found Ethan and Lisa with grave expressions. On the main screen was the face of Admiral Ben Rogers back on Earth. "The situation has escalated," the Admiral explained. 3 of our outer colonies have reported Ardani ships entering orbit without permission. They claim they're setting up guidance outposts for our benefit." "They're not waiting for our agreement," Lisa said, her voice tight with anger. "There's more," the Admiral continued. Our long-range scans have detected more Ardani vessels headed toward other colonies. Their fleet movement suggests they're beginning a full integration whether we agree or not. Ethan turned to Alan and Olivia. We need answers now. Anything you found could help us. Alan quickly explained their discoveries, the matching symbols, the star chart pointing toward Earth, the description of the Ardani gods that sounded remarkably human. The Admiral frowned. Are you suggesting humans visited their world in prehistoric times? That's impossible. I know it seems that way, Alan said. But the evidence suggests some connection between our species long before either of us should have had space travel. Lisa looked thoughtful. The Ardani are hiding something. They've been careful about what historical information they share with us. We need to know more, Ethan decided. Dr. Murphy, based on the star chart Dr. Grant found, are there any specific locations we should investigate? Alan studied the ancient map. There's a system marked with their symbol for beginning. It's about 20 light-years from here in what they consider forbidden space. Forbidden? Lisa asked. Yes. In the data they shared, this entire sector is marked as off-limits. Religious significance, they said. No one is allowed to enter. Admiral Rogers' expression turned grim. Could be they're hiding something there. Ethan nodded slowly. Or protecting something. Commander Wright, the Admiral said after a moment of thought. I'm giving you new orders. Take the Pathfinder to investigate this system. If the Ardani are forcing our hand, we need to find whatever leverage we can. That would violate their space, Lisa pointed out. It could provoke them further. They're already placing ships around our colonies without permission, the Admiral replied. Diplomatic niceties are breaking down. We need answers before it's too late. After the call ended, Ethan looked at his team. This is officially a high-risk mission. Anyone who wants to transfer off before we depart has that right. No one moved. Good, he said. We leave in 6 hours. Dr. Murphy, Dr. Grant, find me everything you can about this forbidden system. As they prepared for departure, Lieutenant Sam Peters approached Alan in the corridor. Is it true? The young officer asked. Are we really related to these aliens somehow? Alan considered the question carefully. I don't think the Ardani are aliens in the way we expected, Sam. The evidence suggests our histories are intertwined somehow, but I don't know the full story yet. The crew is talking, Sam said. Some think you found proof of ancient aliens visiting Earth. It might be more complicated than that, Alan replied. These symbols, these connections, they're too specific, too numerous. It's almost as if... As if what? Alan hesitated, not wanting to voice the wild theory forming in his mind. As if we're not as young a civilization as everyone believes. As if humanity's story is much, much older than we know. The Pathfinder broke orbit quietly, its course set for the forbidden system that might hold answers to the greatest mystery in human history. The Pathfinder moved silently through the darkness of space, its engines running as quietly as possible to avoid detection. They had been traveling for 3 days since leaving Earth space, heading toward the forbidden system marked on the ancient Ardani star chart. Commander Ethan Wright stood on the bridge watching the stars on the main screen. His thoughts were troubled. If they were caught in forbidden Ardani space, it could mean war, a war humans couldn't win. But if Alan and Olivia were right about the connection between Earth and the Ardani, they needed to find the truth. Commander, called Lieutenant Kate Miller from her station. We're picking up something strange ahead. Ethan moved to her side. What is it? Some kind of energy field surrounding the 4th planet of the system we're approaching. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Is it natural? Kate shook her head. No, sir. The pattern is too regular. It has to be artificial. Alert Dr. Murphy and Dr. Grant, Ethan ordered. And bring us in closer, but carefully. I want to stay out of that field until we know what it is. An hour later, the Pathfinder orbited just outside the energy field, which surrounded the entire planet like a shimmering bubble. The main science lab was crowded as the team studied the readings. It's some kind of barrier, Olivia said, analyzing the data, but it's old. Very old. How old? Lisa asked. Alan looked up from his screen. Based on the decay rate of the energy signature, I'd estimate at least 200,000 years. A stunned silence fell over the room. That's impossible, Lieutenant Sam Peters finally said. No civilization could last that long. The barrier is still active, Olivia pointed out. Something must be powering it after all this time. Ethan turned to Alan. Any idea what's on the planet? The sensors can't penetrate the field completely, Alan replied. But we're detecting massive structures on the surface, and there's something in orbit inside the field, an artificial structure about 5 kilometers long. A space station? Lisa suggested. Alan nodded. Probably, and it might be the source of the energy field. Ethan studied the blurry image of the station on the screen. After a moment of thought, he made his decision. We need to get inside that field. Dr. Murphy, is there any way through it? Alan examined the data again. There's a pattern to the energy fluctuations. If we time it right, we might be able to slip a shuttle through during one of the weaker cycles. How dangerous would that be? Lisa asked. I won't lie, Alan said. It's risky, but the field doesn't seem designed to destroy, more to keep things out. Or in. Ethan nodded. I'll lead the mission myself. I'm coming too, Alan said quickly, and me, added Olivia. Lisa stepped forward. I should be there as well. If we find something with diplomatic implications, you'll need me. Very well, Ethan agreed. We leave in 2 hours. Lieutenant Peters, you'll pilot the shuttle. Later, as they prepared for the mission, Alan found Olivia in the equipment room, checking her spacesuit. Are you nervous? He asked. She looked up, with a small smile. Terrified, but also excited. Whatever we find in there could change everything we know about human history. What do you think we'll find? Alan asked as he checked his own suit. Olivia was quiet for a moment. I've been thinking about all the evidence, the matching symbols, the star charts, the descriptions in their texts. I keep coming back to one wild theory. What's that? What if humans didn't evolve on Earth? She said quietly. What if we came from somewhere else long ago? What if Earth was just a colony that forgot its origins? Alan nodded slowly. I've had the same thought. It would explain the connections with the Ardani. Maybe we share a common ancestor, a parent civilization that spread throughout this part of the galaxy. If that's true, Olivia said, the Ardani don't know their own history either. They think they're the ancient ones, but they might be just another forgotten branch of something much older. The shuttle bay was quiet as the small team boarded their craft. Lieutenant Peters ran through the final checks while Ethan briefed them on the mission. Our goal is to reach that space station, he said, pointing to the image on the shuttle's screen. We'll investigate quickly and return with whatever information we can find. If anything goes wrong, or if Ardani ships appear, we abort immediately and return to the Pathfinder. The shuttle launched smoothly, gliding away from the larger ship. As they approached the energy field, Peters slowed their speed. Energy fluctuation in 10 seconds, Alan reported, watching his instruments carefully. 9, 8, 7. Everyone held their breath as the countdown continued. 3, 2, 1. Now. Peters pushed the shuttle forward. For a moment, the craft shuddered violently as it passed through the field. Alarms blared and the lights flickered, then suddenly everything became still. We're through, Peters announced, checking the systems. All functions normal. Through the viewports, they could now see the space station clearly. It was an enormous structure, shaped like a ring with spokes connecting to a central hub. Parts of it were dark and damaged, but light still glowed in other sections. It's still operational, Lisa whispered in awe. After all this time. As they drew closer, they could see details that made everyone grow silent. The design of the station, while clearly ancient and far more advanced, had elements that looked strangely familiar. Those markings, Alan said, pointing to symbols on the outer hull. They're similar to ancient Earth writing systems, a mixture of early Sumerian and something else I can't identify. Ethan directed Peters to take them toward what appeared to be a docking bay. As they approached, lights automatically activated in the bay, guiding them in. "It's responding to our presence," Olivia noted. "The systems are still active." The shuttle settled gently onto the docking platform. Scans showed that the station maintained an atmosphere, though it was thin. "Suits on, but we should be able to breathe inside," Ethan ordered. "Stay together and remain alert." They exited the shuttle carefully, stepping onto the metal floor of the ancient station. Their helmet lights cut through the dimness, revealing a vast chamber with high ceilings, and walls covered in the same mysterious writing Alan had noticed outside. "This way," Alan said, pointing to a corridor where faint light still glowed. "The power seems stronger in that direction." They moved slowly through the station, passing rooms filled with strange machinery and others that looked like living quarters. Everything was covered in a fine layer of dust, untouched for millennia. Finally, they reached what appeared to be a central control room. As they entered, lights came on automatically, and dormant screens suddenly glowed to life. "It's responding to us," Olivia said in wonder. "As if it was waiting." Alan approached one of the screens, studying the symbols that scrolled across it. "I recognize some of this writing. It's related to early human languages, but much more complex." In the center of the room stood a raised platform with what looked like stasis pods arranged in a circle. Most were damaged or empty, but 3 remained intact, their surfaces frosted over. Ethan approached one of the pods cautiously. Using his sleeve, he wiped away the frost from the transparent top. What he saw inside made him step back in shock. "That's not possible," he whispered. The others quickly gathered around. Inside the pod lay what appeared to be a sleeping human, a man with features that could have belonged to anyone from Earth. He wore a uniform of unfamiliar design, and his skin had a gray pallor, but he was unmistakably human. "There are more," Lisa said, moving to the next intact pod. Inside this one was a woman, also human in appearance. Alan checked the control panel beside the pods. "According to these readings, they've been in stasis for... I can't even read this number. It's astronomical." "Are they alive?" Olivia asked. Alan shook his head. "No. The stasis field preserved them, but they died long ago when parts of the system failed." "Look at this," Lisa called from across the room. She had found a device that projected a 3-dimensional star map, showing hundreds of worlds connected by lines. At the center was a planet none of them recognized. Not Earth, not the Ardani homeworld. "I think we just found the homeworld of humanity's ancestors," Alan said quietly. "And probably the Ardani's ancestors too." Alan worked quickly at the ancient control panel, his fingers moving over symbols that somehow felt familiar to him. The station's computer systems had begun to respond more fully after their arrival, as if the presence of humans had triggered some kind of recognition protocol. "I think I've found a data storage system," he told the others. "If I can access it, we might learn who these people were and what happened to them." Olivia stood beside him, helping to decode the strange yet oddly familiar language. "Many of these symbols are root forms of Earth languages. It's like looking at the origin of human writing." After several tense minutes, the main screen lit up with a series of images and text. Alan and Olivia leaned forward, their eyes wide as they began to translate. "It's a historical record," Alan said, his voice filled with awe. "According to this, these people called themselves the Precursors. They were an advanced human civilization that began exploring space over 300,000 years ago." "That's impossible," Sam Peters said. "Humans only evolved on Earth about 200,000 years ago, and we didn't have civilization until much later." "That's what we thought," Olivia replied, still reading the ancient text. "But this changes everything. According to these records, the Precursors established colonies on hundreds of worlds, including Earth and the Ardani homeworld." Lisa moved closer. "Are you saying humans didn't evolve on Earth? That we came from somewhere else?" Alan nodded slowly. "That's exactly what this suggests. Earth was just one of many colony worlds. And look at this." He brought up another image showing a map of precursor territory and a timeline of events. The map was gradually overtaken by a red area that spread like a disease. About 250,000 years ago, the precursors encountered another advanced species. Alan's voice grew somber. A war started, a war that lasted for thousands of years. The precursors were losing, and in desperation, they scattered their people to distant colony worlds. What happened to the enemy? Ethan asked. Alan studied the text. They're gone. Both civilizations nearly destroyed each other. The last surviving precursors used some kind of weapon that eliminated their enemy, but also devastated much of their own territory. Olivia continued reading. The few survivors lost most of their technology and knowledge. On worlds like Earth, they regressed to primitive states. Over time, they forgot their origins completely. And the Ardani? Lisa asked. The same, Alan replied. According to this, the Ardani are descendants of genetically modified humans who were adapted to live on their homeworld. Their blue skin and different features are just adaptations, not alien biology. Everyone fell silent as they absorbed this shocking revelation. Humans and Ardani weren't separate species at all. They were distant cousins, different branches of the same ancient family tree. We need to take this information back to Earth, Ethan said finally, and we need to show it to the Ardani. This changes everything about our relationship with them. As they prepared to leave, Alan copied as much data as he could from the ancient systems. Suddenly, an alarm sounded throughout the station. What's that? Lisa asked, alarmed. Sam checked the shuttle's communications. Commander, we're picking up Ardani ships entering the system. At least 3 of them heading straight for us. We need to leave now, Ethan ordered. Everyone back to the shuttle. They raced through the corridors of the ancient station, carrying their precious data. As they reached the shuttle bay, Alan paused to look back at the place that held the truth about human origins. We'll come back, Olivia promised, seeing his reluctance to leave. Once we've settled things with the Ardani, the shuttle launched quickly, racing toward the edge of the energy field. Behind them, Ardani ships were closing fast. They've spotted us, Sam reported. They're sending warning signals, ordering us to stop. Can we make it back to the Pathfinder before they catch us? Ethan asked. It's going to be close, Sam replied, pushing the shuttle's engines to their limits. As they approached the energy field, Alan watched the fluctuation patterns. We have another opening in 30 seconds. The shuttle shot through the weakened point in the field, just as the lead Ardani ship fired a warning shot across their path. The Pathfinder was waiting on the other side, its engines already powering, up for a quick escape. Shuttle docking complete, Kate Miller reported as they returned to the bridge. Ardani ships are passing through the energy field now. They'll be on us in minutes. Take us out of here, maximum speed, Ethan ordered. Before they could move, a signal came through. On the screen appeared the face of Chief Diplomat Zelthorn, his expression a mixture of anger and concern. Commander Wright, he said coldly. You have violated sacred space. This is an act of aggression that cannot be tolerated. Ethan stepped forward. Chief Diplomat, we've discovered something you need to see. Something about the true history of both our peoples. Zelthorn's black eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? The space station inside the energy field, Ethan replied. It contains records of an ancient civilization called the Precursors. They were human, Chief Diplomat, and according to their records, your people are descended from them too. Zelthorn's face showed shock before he could hide it. This is human deception, a desperate attempt to elevate your status. Lisa joined Ethan. We have proof. Genetic evidence, historical records, everything. Your people and ours share the same ancestors. We're not a young species at all. We're both branches of something far older. For a long moment, Zelthorn was silent. Finally, he spoke. Transmit your evidence. I will examine it personally. 6 months later, Commander Ethan Wright stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Earth ship Reclamation. Through the large windows, he could see the space station they had discovered. now a joint research base where human and Ardani scientists worked side by side. Lisa Kelly joined him, now wearing the formal uniform of Earth's ambassador to the reformed Galactic Council. "The latest reports from Earth are positive," she said. "The last of the Ardani supervision teams have withdrawn from our colonies. The technology exchange program is proceeding smoothly." Ethan nodded. "And the other species? The ones the Ardani had been guiding? Most have accepted the new reality. Some are still suspicious, but the genetic evidence is hard to argue with. We're all descendants of the precursors, just separated by time and distance." Alan and Olivia arrived, carrying data tablets filled with translations of more precursor records. "We've identified at least 30 more colony worlds," Alan reported excitedly, "and possible locations of other precursor outposts like this one." "The Ardani historians are struggling the most," Olivia added. "Their whole cultural identity was built around being an ancient, superior species. Finding out they're just another branch of humanity has been difficult for them to accept." "Not all of them are struggling," a voice said from behind them. They turned to see Zelthorn approaching. The once haughty diplomat had changed in the months since the discovery. He now served as the Ardani representative to the joint research team. "My people are learning to see humans as equals, as family long separated," he said. "It is not easy to change beliefs held for thousands of years, but the truth cannot be denied." Ethan looked out at the stars. "So what happens now? Do we try to rebuild what the precursors lost?" Zelthorn moved to stand beside him. "Perhaps not exactly as they were. Their civilization ended in war and destruction. We should learn from their mistakes even as we reclaim their knowledge." Lisa smiled. "A new beginning, informed by the past but not bound by it." On a wall near them hung a plaque with words in both human and Ardani script. It was the motto of the Joint Precursor Heritage Institute that Alan and Olivia had established. "The future lies not in reclaiming past glory, but in learning from past failures." As the Reclamation prepared for Yidko, its first official voyage to explore another precursor site, Ethan thought about how quickly things had changed. The Ardani no longer mocked humanity's youth. Instead, both species now faced the future together, rediscovering their shared heritage one step at a time. The truth had not just set them free, it had reunited a family separated by hundreds of thousands of years and countless light years of space, and that was worth more than any ancient glory.